Hey everyone, welcome to Python Bytes. Let's get it started. Michael just got back from vacation. Yay. And slightly different time, but we'll probably get back to a regular-ish time next week. Hello and welcome to Python Bytes, where we deliver Python news and headlines directly to your earbuds. This is episode 457, and it's being recorded on November 11th, 2025. And I'm Brian Ocken.
And I'm Michael Kennedy.
Wow, nowhere. Oh, it's 11/11. It's corduroy day. I totally forgot to wear corduroys today, but
I love it. Is that because the vertical stripes?
yeah,
Vertical
yeah,
grooves?
11.
Yeah, I love it. I have no corduroy on either. We missed the
Kind of
opportunity.
have some stripes on your. It's not corduroy, but yeah, your sweater.
Yeah, almost the sweater. Almost pulled it off.
Anyway, would like to thank everybody that supports us through going to doing Talk Python training or the PyTest course, Patreon supporters, or people that bought our books. We really appreciate all of the support, and it keeps us going. Also, love to hear from people on Blue Sky, on Mastodon, and through email. So you can go to the contact us on pythonbytes.fm, and there's the links to all the Blue Sky, Mastodon, all those things to get a hold of us. We actually have a couple items today from listeners, so feel free to send us things. If you'd like to join the show live, and even if it's on a weird time like this week, you can find out when it's going to happen next by going to pythonbytes.fm/live, and jump on and talk with us while we're recording. It's fun. Also, you don't need to take notes because we're going to send you all the links. Well, they're in the show notes, but we'll also send them directly to your inbox if you sign up to be a friend of the show and go to pythonbytes.fm and grab sign up for the newsletter. I think that's all of the stuff. So let's jump into the first item, Michael.
Let's talk about it now. Get on the screen for you. I want to talk about something called HTTP tap at http://tap.dev. Now, this one, it's a little bit like HTTP Pi. I don't know how you really pronounce that correctly, which is my go-to anytime I need to test something on the terminal or that sort of thing. HTTP Pi is because, it's like curl or whatever, but it gives you lots more stats, gives you more information. And this is a little bit like that. If you wanted to go into, say, your Chrome DevTools or something and say, I'm requesting this page or this URL or this API endpoint, it's a little bit slow, or it's a little bit funky. What's going on? Where's the problem? Right?
Yeah.
If it's getting hung up, is it connecting to the server, or is it the backend app server like Granny or whoever is not responding? So that's what this is all about. And it's built, I believe it's built with rich or textual. I can't remember how far down the Will McGugan train it goes, but it definitely is built on some of those. Built with Python, although that's not necessarily that important, right? It's just, I guess it's easier to make improvements to, but it's more just a tool that anyone doing web stuff with Python might be interested in. And I pulled up a little example of just asking Talk Python, HTTP tap, then talkpython.fm, and it says, here's the analysis. And apparently there's only one step. Maybe if there were redirects or something, it would show multi-stage flows, but there's no redirects. So there's not. Shows you the IP address, the TLS version, the cipher, when the certificate expires, the status, the size, the server. Gets all of that stuff right, which is pretty cool. Then it has this waterfall tiered sort of diagram. It says the request timeline. It took 29 milliseconds for DNS to figure out where the heck that was. Because I've been on vacation. I haven't been going to the website, so had to go get it from the internet. And then it took 80 milliseconds to connect to the server. By the way, it's about 80 milliseconds ping time, so you got to keep that in mind when all these numbers, right? Like that's East Coast, West Coast, U.S., 2,500 miles. So connect 80 milliseconds. TLS took 130 milliseconds. So if you ever see your browser doing like keep alive, type of stuff, that's a big savings right there. It's almost 200 milliseconds savings if it doesn't have to keep doing that over and over, right? So that's pretty nice. And then you can see it's actually sending the request and waiting for the response. So goes out, comes back, takes 170 milliseconds, right? Again, ping time in there as well. And then the transfer is a whopping 4.3 milliseconds. So this is pretty cool. Like a really quick view of just seeing what's going on, right, Brian?
Yeah, that's actually, I love that. Very useful, especially if you've got some lag issues or some part of your website that's a little slow. You can look at what's going on. Is it DNS? Is it the transfer? Where's this delay coming from? I mean, it's
Yeah,
not a
exactly.
super fine grain, but this is pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of stuff involved, right? There's, like you said, the DNS might be taking forever, which could be part of the problem, or who knows, right? There's just a lot of things. So really neat to see, see this little UI built in Python.
Yeah, and I guess we have to say it. It's always DNS.
It's always DNS. I mean, that's
It's not always DNS, but yeah. Anyway,
yeah, but often.
often. No, I think this is great. This is cool. I've got actually some side projects that I've got some weird speed issues, and I don't know why. And even just like looking at some of this stuff will help out to
Yeah,
figure
and
out where to start debugging.
yeah, you can get some of these types of things in the dev tools and browsers, but this is really nice. It's visual, it's colorful, it's graphical. I love it.
I like it, and it's command line. Yay, we love command line.
Yay!
Okay, I'm not usually. I have to admit, I click on listicles all the time, but we don't cover very many listicles on the show. But I'm going to cover one today. I actually, oh, my aspect ratio is off. There we go. Here we go. This is from PyCharm. It's actually from Evgenia Verbena. That's a cool name. 10 smart performance hacks for 10 smart performance hacks for faster Python code. And there's some that, well, actually, I think stuff like this is really good to talk to people about, because we don't really think about performance too much. I mean, when you're starting Python, you don't think about it too much. It's hopefully you don't. We don't want people to prematurely optimize, but there's some habits that maybe are decent to get into that avoid problems later on. And so that's one of the reasons why I liked going through this. Nice menu on the right side, also with all the hacks on the right. Anyway, the first one, not too surprising if you've done through any leak code stuff or whatever, is leverage for membership testing. So if you've got a big list, you can throw the list into a set, and then you can find out easily if something's in the list by putting it in a set. And oddly, that speeds things up quite a bit, like drastically. List lookup versus set lookup is super fast. So
same for dictionaries too. Like if you're looking up by some kind of key, either one, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, like I said, some not too surprising. Slots are great if you're going to use classes or data classes. Even if it's not going to grow over time, you can define slots and stuff, and then the lookup for each element within a data class is a lot faster with slots. I want to jump around because there were some that I didn't really realize that I just didn't think about before. And one of them is use math functions instead of operators. And I guess I wouldn't. Some of these are weird. Like don't. So math dot sqrt for square root is faster and more accurate than raising a number to the power of 0.5 using exponentation operator. I wouldn't do that anyway because that's weird. It just looks weird, and it's bad. I don't know, bad code style, I think. But there's a whole bunch of others. Similarly, the sine function, exponent, log. Those are really fast operators in math. So go ahead and utilize math. And so that's a good pointer. Pre-allocate memory with known sizes. Now this is some like an old trick that I think that I didn't really think that it was a huge difference, and it looks like one of the things that's it's cool in this article. It does the pre-allocated time versus or the before and after times. So there's a bit of zero point oh 0.01 second speed up. Um, but so the trick is just to I guess have an array with if you're gonna fill an array anyway, may as well just fill it with some zeros or something initially, and then and it seems like a waste of time to fill it with zeros because you're gonna fill everything up, but it isn't because it's the allocation that takes a little bit longer than the, filling it with zeros.
Yeah, and Brian, it's worth thinking through like how that goes a little bit, because if you just go append, 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 and this is something I don't do, and it's inspiring me to consider like, well, maybe I should. But the array doesn't know if you're going to put a million items in there. Every time you do like array.append or list.append, it doesn't go, guess what? We're going to add a million, right? It's like, well, what about 16? What about 32 of them? Oh, now we need more. Okay, what about 64 of them? It has to keep reallocating and copying as you build
and
this
that
up. So yeah.
and I don't remember how I mean, it's a little smarter than that, so I think it, like, does like, doubles it in size or takes a chunk or I can't remember what it
Yeah, it's
does,
not
but it
allocating every one, right? It's got an
right.
algorithm or heuristic.
But if you already know how big it's gonna be, you can just tell it to do it once, which is cool. But I don't really think about it that too much. The a couple of the ones down below I really wanted to cover. One, this was, avoid exception handling in hot loops. And I am guilty of this too because I try to have my exception handling as close to the place where it can go wrong as possible. Just as it's a visual thing and a code readability thing to have this tight. Um, have the try right around the like the example has a zero division error, has the try and accept right there. However, that might slow you down a little bit. And it did in this case. Where's the try accept on this one? It's just not there.
I think the top one versus the bottom one.
Yeah, but there's no try and accept at the top.
No, that's the baseline.
Okay.
The conditional check versus
Yeah.
it's like checking for the condition that would cause the exception to avoid the exception.
Oh, okay. I guess
Yeah.
I would just put the try and accept at the top, or around the larger one as a better comparison. Anyway,
Yeah.
um,
I
and I
agree,
still
but this
think
is a
that's
big one.
better, but
Yeah.
that's a big one. Then we get into some really there's exception handling using iter tools for combinatorial operations, and this is huge. If you're working with chunks of lists or chunks of and stuff, using iter tools and knowing what's in there, it speeds up a huge amount. So using iter tools versus loops for I forget what the example is here, but the speed up is using product, and the speed up is massive from like what 440 times bigger or something. Four divided by 5 divided by 20. That's four. So it's four times speed up. Math is hard. Bisect also a great thing to look at, and yeah. Anyway, just some cool. Like, wow, that's a massive speed up, 100 times speed up for using bisect in the right places. So find out where places where you can use bisect or iter tools, and just knowing that those are there to look them up. These are good speed ups. Anyway, occasionally it's good to think about how fast is my code going.
I think we could summarize up that article by basically saying know the standard library, know your data structures. Mostly.
Yeah.
Right? Use
Well,
dicts,
right.
use iter tools, etc.
The standard library is still pretty big. I would probably limit that to the standard library that manipulates data structures.
Yeah,
things
it
like
kind
iter
of
tools.
intersect with data structures. Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was getting at. And by the way, this was written by Dito Grigorov and posted by Uvagina. So
Oh, okay.
just want to make
Yep.
sure Dito
Thanks.
gets a little credit for writing it.
Thanks for that clarification. Yeah,
Yeah, no
we'll
worries.
fix that. So,
It's tricky. I think it's because the way the JetBrains CMS
yeah.
works. Yeah. So Cool, cool. Well, maybe we should, Brian, maybe we should talk to him about it. Put him up on a little video call. You know what I mean? What do you think? Do a little web RTC?
I've kind of forgot about RTC. Web
I know,
RTC.
but you and I are sitting here. People don't necessarily know how we're doing this. It's magic. We basically, you and I, we speak through magic. But some of that magic is web RTC because all of this is recording, streaming, etc., video and voice, multiple channels, multiple screens, and so on, over WebRTC in the browser, which is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous that this works. So I want to talk about a library from Freddie Bolton, who is behind the Gradio project, Gradio probably project, and I had him on Talk Python a couple years ago. And this is called Fast RTC. So kind of like, hey, I'm a fan of integrating with Fast API, and I want to do web RTC. It's kind of ridiculous how simple some of these things are. So it's pretty popular. It's got 4,000 GitHub stars, 400 forks. It's been around for a while. Freddie pointed this out to me a decent while ago, and I finally ain't getting around to talking about it. But it's quite neat. There's a little video you can watch about how to do it, but it's got some examples for you. Like if you want to do an echo audio, which it's kind of a sadistic example, you know what I mean? Because that's usually the worst thing about a video meeting is the echo. But if you want to listen to you hear yourself echo back just to prove that it's going round and round, then how many lines is that? I mean, there's a huge comma in there, but if you take out the comma, and you format it a little bit wider, it's probably 5 lines of code to set up a server, connect to it, and echo back. Like that's insane. And there's also ways to set up LLM voice chat if you care about that. You know, that's obviously the thing du jour is I want to talk to my LLM, but you know, you could do that pretty easily, pretty quickly here. But also just stream your webcam back or object
It's just
detection.
a handful of lines of code.
It's insane, but this stuff seems so complicated, doesn't it, Brian?
It's cool. It's cool use of wrapping stuff up in a library.
Yeah, so it comes with automatic voice detection, turn taking built in, which is interesting. It's got a UI to launch it in built-in Gradio UI if you want to do that. I believe that's probably JavaScript. Automatic web RTC support. So mount it onto a fast API app and get a web RTC endpoint for your own front end. So you can kind of go Gradio or you can go this way. It's got WebSocket support. Listen to this, automatic telephone support. Use fast phone on the screen and get your own temporary phone number.
Actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It says you can easily be mounted on your own Fast API app and customize it entirely, extend it to fit within your production app. I guess assuming that's a Fast API app, although you could certainly squeeze it in using like Nginx routes to make it look like one app, but it's not exactly the same backend and so on. So there's examples for that. Yeah, so I thought it was pretty cool.
That is pretty neat. I interviewed somebody in like 3 years ago, 2012, about WebRTC. They were doing wrote a book on it, and
nice.
I thought, like, I don't think I'd ever use that, but of course I use tools that use WebRTC all the time. So, like you said, we're using it for.
And we're using it right now. We're using it right now. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think I'll ever build one of those. Like, and then you're like, but what if I could do it for this project or something comes up or, just knowing about it
I think and right now, like you said, with things like hooking up LLMs to, some vibe coding. Why not?
Exactly. I mean, no comment.
No comment. Okay, so this is a listener suggestion. Actually, comes to us as a request from Nicholas Karsner. He said, "Hey, I'm using pip depth tree a lot lately, and it's pretty cool. Have you covered that? And I'm like, yeah, we covered it, but I looked it up. It was I should have had the episode up, but we covered it in episode 17. That was what 2017. So yeah, it was a minute ago that we've covered it. So it's totally fine to cover it again because there's been changes. So I did want to talk about both pip depth tree, but also I used pip depth tree for a long time, but now usually I use UV pip tree, and so I just decided to write an article on it just to because I wanted to
Nice.
show some code examples. um, One of the cool things I did not know that pip depth tree did. One of the things that I would always do is I'd have a project install pip depth tree, and what it does is when you run it, it looks at all the stuff you have installed and then shows them. It's kind of like pip list, but it shows all the. It's like a tree structure, and it shows them where, um, like in a tree structure with what versions there are installed and kind of it's extra information like the like if I'm using it from pyproject.toml, I have an example of the cards project, why it chose the particular version that's installed. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty handy. But I would always install it in the project, and it would also tell me that pip deptree is installed. But the trick is to install it somewhere globally, like either using UVX pip deptree or UV tool install pip deptree, and then you've got it just available to you always. And then you can use Python Auto, and the Python Auto flag will tell you, it will look in the current environment that you're in. So so then you can have it in global, and then yeah, and just look at whatever project you're in, which is cool. I didn't know it could do the auto thing too, so I'm glad I looked that up. The but what I'm using usually is UV Piptree because it's already installed with UV, and I have UV everywhere now. By default, I wanted to go through a couple flags that I just learned about this. I when I was comparing this. If you do UV Piptree, it'll show you a tree structure, but it only shows you the versions that are installed, and it does do, like, for instance, I'm showing cards, and Rich is showing up, and it looks like it's in a couple places. Package tree already displayed. Rich. Oh yeah, because the cards project depends on Rich, but it also depends on Typer, which also depends on Rich. So Rich is duplicated, and there's a little note that says that. There's a flag where you can turn it off, but I kind of like seeing the duplication. It's just to see who all is using something. Now, um, the to get a similar look as pip depth tree, you can add show version specifiers, and then it shows you the rules that it used to figure out what to install. But the new flag that I just learned about, which I'm super excited about, is dash dash outdated, and this tells you, it throws the latest up. It looks at all of the things you got installed and tells you if there's newer ones. So you can go into your project and you can run UV pip3 outdated, and it'll tell you which ones you should maybe update. So it's pretty fun, both of those. So I
Yeah,
like both tools.
that's nice. I do as well. I've used pip deptree for a long time. It's nice to just go, why is this here? Why is Click installed? I don't remember installing Click. It's fine, but I just don't remember installing it, right? But it's icy because I installed Typer and I forgot that Typer's a wrapper on Click or whatever.
Yeah, and one of the things, like for instance, on the I'm thinking about update, like a hypothetical scenario. I've got on my cards application. I'm using Rich, but maybe I maybe I'll try to, like, tighten the dependencies by not using Rich. But if I'm using Typer, it's going to come in anyway. So it's kind of, I like to see the duplication because I'm not going to save anything if I don't depend on Rich directly. It's already there because of Typer. So
Yes, exactly. You're like, can I just get rid of this thing? You're like, nope,
no, you
not
can't.
not easily, not directly anyway.
Um, yeah, but if I got rid of Typer also somehow, and then I could get rid of Rich, and maybe I'll like redo the TinyDB too. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
tighten it up.
tighten
All
it
right.
up.
Those are that's my items to talk about. Oh, I do have links to both pip tree and UV tree rich. UV pip tree rich. Also, those are all different words. So.
Nice. All right. Well, just keep going. You're the only one with extras today.
Okay, I got a couple extras. I've got one of the benefits of working at the office, like the back to office thing, is I was walking by one of my colleagues and he's got a bunch of colors up on his screen. And I'm like, what are those colors? And I use VS Code at work, and and I've often got different projects up. The same thing. He's using, and I started using this just like last week, a thing called Peacock. And what it does is it shows different colors around the outside of your terminal, and it's or outside of your VS Code window, but the colors are picked and stored in the project or like the workspace. Yeah, the workspace. So that if you've got different projects open, they all have different colors. So when you're like, I want to go back to that window, you just have to remember which color goes to which project. And that's kind of up to you. But
Ooh, Brian, I might have to install this.
Even if you, one of the cool things is I'm like, well, I chose green and it's a little too bright for me. I kind of wanted a darker green. It has built-in buttons to just go a little darker, or a little lighter. You can do custom, like pick your own color, but you can also say this is close, but I'd like it a little darker. And it just it's pretty cool. So I'm loving that.
Yeah. And it's not incredibly popular, but it looks like it's from John Papa, who's been around in the tech space for a long time, so seems trustworthy.
Where do you see the popularity? Is it in here? Or?
It's the downloads.
Hundreds. Yeah.
Oh, I take it back. I thought it may have more than I initially said. It has basically 4 million downloads. Okay. So actually there's a few downloads. People like this idea.
Oh,
I was looking at the Open VSX marketplace, which is like similar but not the same.
The other update. So one of the things I mentioned last week is that I'm writing a book again, and I just updated this last night. I think last night. There's another chapter written. So I got to clean this up. Both versions are here, but I did essential components for successful software projects. So I got that one up, and I completely rewrote the introduction. And I should stop doing that. An editor a long time ago told me, do a quick introduction and then leave it alone until you finish the book, and then you can update it to be what the book actually is. And so
yeah,
I got to do that.
100%. I think that's a great idea about the introduction. I do it with my courses sometimes. I'll record the whole course and then I'll record the introduction because I'm like, I want to be able to say, and we're going to cover this in this section, and then actually have that match.
Yeah, but my brain won't let me go on if I don't write an introduction to start with. It's like, but I haven't done an introduction, man. And
I know.
Yeah, the essential components chapter, this was tough, man, because there's like, I needed it to be tight, or I wanted it to be a tight chapter, but I rewrote it like 5 times because I had so many stories and stuff I wanted to throw in, and I decided to take the stories out and leave those stories as blog posts later after I get the book done. But I guess the third extra, I don't have anything to show for this, but when I'm writing and I've got all this great stuff that I want to save, but I know it shouldn't be in this chapter or it shouldn't be in this blog post, I've decided for my editor, I've got a file called cut bucket, like CUT bucket. And I just put a divider line, put another title, and paste the stuff I want to save there. And then I don't, and then my brain, it's a brain trick, is, I haven't thrown it away. It's there. You don't have to remember it, and move on with writing. So
yeah, awesome.
Matrix.
What's your editor that you're writing in? Like, are you doing Markdown? What is this story?
Oh yeah, it's Markdown in VS Code. The PyTest book had tons of code snippets and everything. I think this is going to be a code snippet free book, so that I can. That the goal is to do an audio version later, and I might have some code snippets, but probably not. Like that. Actually, it's one of the things of reading the test-driven development book from the OG one from Kent Beck. It's all in Java, I think, and it's like
you're lucky it's not small talk.
Well, right, maybe it is small talk. I don't know. I don't remember, but I think
it's Java as well.
I just sort of skimmed by the code snippets because I'm like, I don't care. I'm just like here for the concepts. So I'm trying to keep this book the concepts and not the code because it's code's different for everybody, man. So
Absolutely.
anyway,
Love it.
that's all I got.
All right. Well, let's tell a joke then and close it out. So
Okay.
I've done a few AI ones. This is not an AI joke, folks. So if you're tired of the AI jokes, well then, don't worry. This isn't one. This one is a joke about the future of Python and people being stuck in their ways or having assumptions about Python not being as fast as it could be or having limitations that it doesn't have anymore theoretically or semi-theoretically, whatever. And it's a a woman in a walker, probably 70 or so, with the granddaughter helping her back to, sit down or something. It says, so I think I named, what did I name the project, the joke here? I think I called it "Okay, Grandma" is the joke. So, honey, do you know that the GIL prevents multiple Python threads from executing parallelly? Sure, Grandma, let's get you back to bed. Bit of a testament to Python 3.14 and Python T and free thread Python and all that.
That's funny. I can just like fast forward. I can imagine like me 10 years from now telling the kids, when I was a kid, we had a gill. We had one thread at a time.
You little whippersnappers don't know how good you got it. My Python used to just run interpreted and it was so slow we would debate whether it was fast enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I got for
funny.
a joke for us, Brian.
I like it. Yeah. All right. It worked for me. I liked it. So
nice.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining and listening, and we love you all. And we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, everyone.